The eclipse burned through the Madrid sky like an omen. Shadows spilled across the city, long and crawling, and even the birds fell silent. 15-year-old Veronica watched from her school courtyard, the dim light reflecting in her wide eyes. She had always been curious about the world beyond, the one her dead father might still linger in. Her friends Rosa and Diana whispered about séances, spirits, and forbidden games. And that afternoon, while the rest of the school marveled at the sun's disappearance, they slipped away into the basement with a battered Ouija board and trembling excitement. The basement smelled of mildew and chalk dust. Light from the eclipse trickled through a narrow window, turning everything into a deep orange blur. Veronica placed her trembling fingers on the planchette. Her father's old medallion hung around her neck. She wanted to hear him one more time, to feel his presence. The girls joined hands. "Spirit of the beyond," Veronica whispered, her breath shallow. "We call to you." At first, nothing. Then the candles guttered, spitting wax. The air tightened, pressing on their lungs. The planchette began to slide across the board with sudden speed. The letters spelled Hello. Diana giggled nervously. But Veronica's face grew pale. The board moved again, faster. The letters blurred. The air dropped in temperature until they could see their breath. And then the medallion around her neck turned ice cold. "I want to talk to my father." The candles blew out. In the darkness, a sound like breathing, wet, animal, too close. Then a crack, sharp and clean. When Rosa lit her flashlight, the Ouija board was split down the middle. Veronica was on the floor, eyes rolled back, blood trickling from her nose. Her friends screamed and ran. From that moment on, she knew something had followed her home. That night, the apartment felt different. The shadows were thicker, restless, as if they moved when she didn't look. Her younger brother, Antonito, stared into corners and whispered to someone unseen. "The tall man's watching you," he said. "He said your name." Veronica tried to laugh it off, but the air in her room smelled of sulfur and old blood. When she turned off the light, she heard footsteps, slow, dragging, scraping the floor. Sleep brought no peace. Her dreams were filled with flickering images, her father's face melting into a hollow-eyed shadow, her own reflection grinning back at her with teeth too sharp. She woke one night to find claw marks burned into her sheets, the faint sound of chanting echoing from the walls. The next day, she went to school pale and trembling. Her friends refused to talk about the séance. "It was just a stupid game," Diana muttered. "Forget it." But Veronica couldn't. She could still feel it breathing behind her. Desperate, she visited Sister Narcissa, the blind nun everyone called Sister Death. The woman's clouded eyes turned toward her, unseeing yet somehow piercing. "You've opened a door, child," the nun rasped, "and something has come through. It's not your father. It's feeding on you." Veronica whispered. Something answered. Veronica swallowed. "How do I send it back?" The nun's cracked lips curved into something between pity and fear. "You can't. Not easily. It's already claimed you. All you can do is protect the others." That night, Veronica locked the children's room, setting up candles and crucifixes around their beds. She told them it was a game. "No matter what you hear, don't open the door," she whispered. The wind howled against the windows. The candles trembled. Somewhere in the hall, glass shattered. Then came the smell, iron and rot like old blood. She turned toward the mirror, and for a heartbeat, she saw herself. But behind her reflection stood the thing. Tall, faceless, its body a swirling mass of black smoke. The light exploded. The candles went out. Something cold pressed against her throat. She screamed. The children cried from behind the door. When she turned the light back on, the mirror was cracked, and her medallion was gone. The next morning, bruises ringed her neck like dark fingerprints. Her mother didn't notice. She was too exhausted from the night shift. too absent to see the fear in her daughter's eyes. Veronica wanted to tell her, to beg her for help, but when she tried, the words died in her throat. A cold hand brushed her shoulder, unseen. She ran to the bathroom and vomited dark fluid that tasted like metal. The entity grew stronger. Lights flickered when she entered a room. Shadows stretched toward her like hungry vines. Her little sister Irene woke up with scratches down her arms, crying that someone had whispered in her ear all night. By the fifth night, Veronica knew what she had to do. She would finish what she started. She gathered the broken Ouija board, the medallion, and a single candle. Her siblings huddled around her, trembling. "We're going to end the game," she told them. "When I say your names, don't answer." The candlelight wavered, the air heavy with the scent of smoke and iron. She began to chant. The flame bent backward as though something was breathing on it. The shadows on the wall began to move, twisting, growing. A low rumble filled the apartment, like growling, deep and primal. Lucia screamed. The lights burst. From the blackness, the figure emerged, taller than before, its body pulsing like liquid darkness. The walls shook as it reached for her. The children cried, calling her name, but she kept chanting, louder, shaking. "Go back!" she screamed. "Leave us!" The entity shrieked, a sound like metal tearing. The candle went out. The room drowned in shadow. Then came the thud, something heavy hitting the floor. When the police arrived minutes later, alerted by neighbors hearing the screams, they found chaos. Crucifixes hung upside down, walls smeared with ash. The Ouija board burned into the table, and in the center of it all, Veronica's body, pale and lifeless, her eyes open as if staring at something beyond the ceiling. Her siblings were alive, shivering, covered in soot, whispering her name. The report described strange interference on the officers' radios, a woman's voice, repeating softly, "Don't look." Months later, paranormal investigators entered the apartment. They found scorch marks shaped like hands, symbols drawn in blood that wasn't hers. In one of the photos taken that night, behind Veronica's body, a shadow lingered. Tall, head bowed, watching. The neighbors said that sometimes, when the power flickers, they can still hear faint whispers through the walls, children crying, and a girl's voice whispering prayers that never end. And on the anniversary of the eclipse, when the sun begins to darken, the lights in that building fail. Candles go out, mirrors crack, and somewhere, beneath the hum of the city, a low voice murmurs from the void, soft, sorrowful, endless. "Veronica."